Good afternoon, students. After the finishing of the chapter Bhakti movement and Sufism, we shall center our study or discussion on the new chapter, the emergence of the Vijayanagar Empire. Understand the ruins of Vijayanagar Empire. But before the studying the ruins, we must have to be the study must have to be the centered our study on its emergence of the Vijayanagar Empire. So now the emergence of the Vijayanagar Empire has a very long history, and regarding its foundation or its establishment, the historians now give the different views of the opinions regarding this. Understand about the regarding the formation of the Vijayanagar Empire. Although this empire was now established or they founded by the two brothers, although they were the five brothers, and they were supposed to be the fugitive five brothers. Amongst them, the Harihar and Dukka. They were the son of the Sangama. They were son of the Sangama, and they formed this dynasty. The first of all, they formed the Vijayanagar Empire as the first dynasty, as a Sangam dynasty, in the name of their fathers, Sangam dynasty. Or this was the just Vijayanagar Empire were formed in the 1336. Understand? Or this was the period of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Understand? Who was the ruling as a Sultan of the Delhi, and he was now for a long and adopting his expansionist policy. He was invading again and frequent invasion he made over the southern parts of the country, or under that process of the continuous invasion by the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, or interfering in the internal matter of these local dynasties, Kaktiye and Hoysal and the Yadavas. Understand? He was continuously interfering in their life and interfering their internal matters and trying to occupy and subjugate these dynasties. So under this process, understand this and under this process, a room at the space, the two brothers found the very good golden opportunity to establish a new dynasty, Sangam dynasty, and later on named as a Vijayanagar empires. Understand? The students, first of all, a very briefing we are going to do here. First, the Vijayanagar Empire, or now the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was on the campaign to suppress the southern Indian states. Understand? So now soon the southern Indian states were in the revolution, in the revolt against him. So this revolt, whatever the revolt happened in the extended to the kingdom of Kampili. The revolt happened in kingdoms of Kampili was there, and its people say perhaps led the Somdev Raj, led by Somdev Raj, who was the leading the revolt against the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, against the Sultan. Sultan Tughlaq sent the Harihar and Dukka Raya to south to crush the revolt. The Harihar and Dukka, they were now sent to the crush this the revolt. Both brothers were son of the Sangma, the last Yadav king. Understand? They were son, and they were noble in the court of the Kaktiya kingdoms. And these two brothers were the nobles. It is said that they were the nobles in the Kaktiya kingdoms, and they went to the Kampil. And they went to the Kampil when the Warangal was defeated by the Sultan of Delhi. And when the Warangal was defeated by in the Andhra Pradesh, it was defeated. Then they went in the kingdoms of the kingdom in the Darbar of the Kaktiya king, where and the Muhammad Tughlaq invaded the Kampil again for for giving the shelter to the Muslims rebel. And again he attacked on the Kampil, where the two brothers were taking the rest, taking the shelter. He brought Harihar and Bukka as the prisoners. Then after these two brothers, understand, who were also supposed to be the revolting, the Muhammad bin Tughlaq as a revolting, so then they were caught and brought in the Delhi courts. Again, and Harihar and Bukka, as both the brothers embraced the Islam. It is said that by the historian that these two, Harihar and Bukka, they embraced the Islam. They were forced to adopt the Islam, and then Sultan swearing both brothers in the loyalty. And after that, the both brothers now took the oaths and the swear before the Sultan, and they expressed their extreme loyalty before him. And then the responsibility of the establishing peace and order in this southern area, both accomplished this task very successfully, and both the brothers were given the task of the restoring the peace and tranquility in this area. Understand? Both were given the task for that, assigned the task to restore the peace and order in this both area. And now in the southern India or the Deccan area. More after the storm time, Harihar and Bukka abdicated their new master and the new religion. They left their new master and the new religion, or according to the Kapaluru, according to the Kapaluru and the Bagepalli and Kapaluru, Anudan. Understand? According these are the two I am talking about. That these are the two evidences and the record. According to that, two records. These were the now initiation. They were initiated into the Hindu religion. Again, they got converted into the Hindu religion by a scholar saint. Vidyaranya. Vidyaranya, now he converted them, he now purified them, or taken into the Hindu fold again, or under the instruction, and they laid the foundation of the Hindu kingdom Vijayanagar under his inspiration, under his guru. Under Vidyanarayan was a very great guru. Understand? Or under this guru, they or the inspiration of the guru, they founded the Vijayanagar Empire. Understand? Then after their dynasty is known as the Sangam dynasty. So be sure that they formed the Sangam dynasty. Their dynasty was generally simply known as a Sangam dynasty. They formed at that. Their dynasty is known as the Sangam dynasty, or remained in the power about the 150 years. Their dynasties or their successor ruled over the Vijayanagar. Understand? And after that Vijayanagar Sangam dynasty, other dynasty again came into the power and ruled. Among these dynasty, after first Sangam dynasty, second Saluva dynasty, third Taluva dynasty, understand, and the Aravidi ruled over this kingdom, Vijayanagar. Understand? After that, Aravidi ruled over this kingdom. Okay, Vijayanagar was inhabited by the people of the different language and the religious traditions. This Vijayanagar Empire, understand? First, Sangam dynasty. Second, Sangam Saluva, Taluva, or Aravidi. Understand? Sangam dynasty, Saluva dynasty, Taluva dynasty, or Aravidi. Understand? You have to be now remember a order of the dynasty of the Vijayanagar empires. Then after this empire was dominated or inhibited by the different cultures of the different languages, peoples of the different culture and the languages inhabited inhabited this area, or the peoples of the different traditions, the peoples of the different religious beliefs, they inhabited this Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, settled down here. And further, this empire, rulers of this busy in struggle, the rulers of the Vijayanagar empires, now they kept them into the struggle on their northern frontiers. Northern frontiers were generally with the contemporary rivals with the sultans of the Deccan. They had Vijayanagar, all the Vijayanagar emperors and the rulers were engaged in the battle in the northern area with the Deccan sultans, and in the eastern area, or if you in the northern India, in the Deccan, okay, sultans, and as well as adjacent to this area, they were engaged in the battle with the Odisha. Okay, Gajapati rulers were in the Odisha. So with them they had the very long struggle. Now, what were the why the Vijayanagar's emperors were always in the struggle or always in the battle? The reason was that first, to control the fertile rivers valley, to control the fertile rivers valleys in the Odisha, and the resources generated by the lucrative overseas trade. Odisha was on the coastal area, understand, and that's why they wanted to capture this area, okay, to reach at the and to control the overtime, control the overseas business and the overseas trade, make the control over that too, so that the huge amount of the revenues or the taxes they could collect. Understand? For that reason, they were involved in that war. Vijayanagar and the Bahmani kingdoms were the very long, a very long enmity was there between the two kingdoms. A very long struggles happened, and Bahmani was the Muslim kingdoms, Vijayanagar was the Hindu kingdom, and as a result, frontiers remained the changing, and as a result, always this Vijayanagar and only for the Raichur Doaba. Understand? For the Raichur Doaba, they had the long struggle. It was a very fertile Doaba, very fertile area. Okay, so over that they had the contest, a very long contest. And Sangam dynasty remained in power till the 1485. This dynasty, and made or Virupaksha II. Virupaksha II was the last ruler of the Sangam dynasty. Virupaksha II was the last ruler of this Harihar and Bukka traditions. In that he was the last Virupaksha, and weak and the incompetent ruler. He was not so strong, and taking the advantage of the weaknesses of the Virupaksha II. Understand? The disorder and the anarchy, since he was not in position to control the situation. Understand? Virupaksha II. So the taking the advantage of this juncture or disorder or the anarchy prevailed in the courts. Narsimha, a Saluva Hindu, Narsimha, chief of the Chandragiri, deposed the Virupaksha in 1486. Okay, this belonging to the Chandragiri, Narsimha belonged to a Salva Hindu clans. Understand? Chief and occupied the throne. So then after the Sangam, Saluva means the Narsimha. Understand? He captured the throne from the Virupaksha II. From the Virupaksha II. The Saluvas were the military commanders, and no doubt the Saluvas of the Vijayanagar, Saluvas were the military commanders and continued in the power till the 1503. They retained and controlled the power of the Vijayanagar empires, and they were replaced by the Tuluva. After the Saluva, the Tuluva replaced them. Krishnadev Raya belonged to this Tuluva dynasty, and ultimately the Krishnadev Raya belonged to the Tuluva dynasty. Understand? Tuluva dynasty, he belonged to this dynasty, and the Krishnadev Raya ruled the 1509 to the 1529. Understand? Almost 20 years he ruled over the this And now the Krishna Dev Rai now brought this dynasty at the climax of his glory. No doubt, the Krishna Dev Rai was a very famous and prominent ruler of this Talwa dynasty, and he now brought this dynasty, or brought the glory of the Vijayanagar empires in a very high, understand, in a very excellent position. And now he made the many conquests. Among his conquests, certain are the Krishna. He now crushed his now refractory vessels. Now that he crushed many of the vessels around him, and the chiefs and the jamindars like and the chiefs, they were now protesting against him. So that's why the first he crushed them with the very firm and very ruthlessly. Understand, these vessels were brought under the control, and directed his attention towards the now success towards the other states, successor states, other states of the Bahmani kingdom. Now he focused towards the successor of the Bahmani kingdom, Odisha, and the rising power of the Portuguese. He was the towards the he gave the attention towards the Bahmani successor state, Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmednagar, Bijapur, Golconda, Bidar, and Barar. Understand? These were the successor states of the Bahmani kingdoms. And then after, he paid the much attention towards the Odisha also. We know that Odisha had a very struggle with the Vijayanagar Empire, and moreover, rising power of the Portuguese were the one of the challenge for him. Now we know that after the advent of the Vasco da Gama, understand, he came, and then after the Portuguese began to establish their political ascendancy here, their political dominations. Trade was also, they were forcibly converting the Hindus into the Christianity, and they were trying to capture the entire area of the Arabian Sea for their trade, and wanted to make the secure. But they had a Portuguese were involved in the involved with the Bahadur Shah of the Gujarat in conflict, and they were involved in the conflict with the Arabians, traders, and as well as they were creating and posing a great menace for the Krishna Dev Rai. Understand? So now the Krishna Dev Rai had to maintain the balance of power in this area. Understand? So that's why he needed to make his position very strong, Vijayanagar Empire, and the expansion of and the concept. Then after, he followed the policy of the expansion of his empire, Vijayanagar, and under this he captured the land between Tungabhadra and the Krishna, and this land was the very fertile lands. Understand? And the Vijayanagar or Bahmani states were always in conflict for this land. And the rivers Raichur Doaba, this Doaba is the much fertile Doaba. Understand? That was the situated between the Raichur Doaba, Krishna and Tungabhadra rivers, and for that he in 1512 he brought under his control Raichur Doaba, and then in further in 1514 now subdued the rulers of Odisha. He was rulers of Odisha was posing the menace for him, or he wanted to capture the overseas trade. Understand that that's why he crushed the Odisha and forced them to restore the Vijayanagar, all the territories up to the Krishna River, and up to the Krishna River, Vijayanagar Empire restored the entire lands under its control. Understand? And he forced to now be the back then, retreat back. So we see that, and 1520 again the Krishna Dev Rai defeated the ruler of Bijapur, ruler of Bijapur, and pushed him across the Krishna River. Bijapur, ruler of Bijapur, was also a great threat for, and pushed him back to the across the Krishna River. Understand? And entire Krishna River zones was under his control. And moreover, army of Bijapur reached the Belgaum, sacked the and army of Krishnadev Rai reached the Belgaum and sacked the Bijapur and destroyed the forts of Gulbarga. So he now crushed it and entered into his army now reached out there. Thus, the power and prestige of the Vijayanagar empires reached its climax. No doubt, it was the Krishnadev Rai who now made the very strong the Vijayanagar empire on the different fronts, on the different fronts. He consolidated and expanded his empire, and the unchallenged power he became there. And moreover, what kind of administrative structure now he set up? Now the Krishnadev Rai was the great administrator also. He was not a victorious, he was not a conqueror only. He was a great. Now he was all. He was an ornament because he was a brave literary. He had the aptitudes towards the literary test, towards the literature, and he endowed with all traits of the efficient administrators. He was the endowed and gifted administrator, and all, and the administration, though autocratic. Now he was a autocratic, not a benevolent, but autocratic. He was now concerned with the welfare of his subjects. Understand? Now he was very much concerned. He expressed the concern towards his citizen, towards his people, and towards his subjects, and strengthened the central authority and put the strict control. He strengthened the central power and kept a very strict vision and control over the provincial governors. Entire administration, entire empire was divided into the provincial governors. Understand? And he kept the watch and the control over them very strictly, and even over the officials also. They had to be remain under a strict control of the Krishnadev Rai administration. Krishnadev made efforts for the extension of the arable lands, for the raising the more grains, more crops, lands, and got the constructed many for the raising the production, agricultural production. He got constructed the many canals or the many ponds. He got dug or for the irrigational purposes. Or he also organized a strong army, but did not care for the navy. Although he organized a strong army, but did not care for the navy. Although there was a great menace on the part of the from the Portuguese. So he should have enhanced the naval power also. Understand? To make the control over the overseas trades. But he did not take care of that. This was the lapses of the administration of the Krishnadev Rai. We can see. And moreover, he philanthropist. He was a philanthropist and a tolerant also. Now doing the welfare for the others, and he was a great tolerant. It means that he now gave the room for all religions or the beliefs in his fort and in his territories. Understand? They were free. All, whether the Muslim and Hindus or the Christians, were free to adopt the, and they provided grants to all the temples without the distinction. And moreover, he now liberally granted the donations and the charity to the temples. And moreover, foreign travelers, many foreign travelers visited in the empire of the Vijayanagar, and like the many travelers came, Barbosha, Pius, Nunes appreciated greatly the administration of the Krishnadev Rai. These foreign travelers, Barbosha, Pius, Domingo Pius or Nunes, they traveled during the Pius now an Italian, understand, and spent a number of years in the Krishnadev Rai court, and now and term him a great ruler of a and the man of a justice. Pius now he lived and stayed at the court of Krishnadev, and he now or he appreciated him and great justice. Barbosa writes that king allows such a freedom that every man, okay, and everyone come and go, live according to his own. Every now he provided a freedom to all citizens, and the every whatever the creed and the religion without suffering any annoyance. Everyone could move from one place to the other place without suffering any kind of the annoyance. And the inquiry whether he is the Christians, Jews, and the whether the and the Hithers they can move from one place to other place, whether the Christians, Jews, whether the Muslims, all have were the free to move in his kingdoms. Now he was the so liberal about that. Understand? Or uh, moreover, we have to be the see the Krishnadev Rai and the art and literature. Now I have all he had the artistic say choice also, and the artistic bent he was the bent towards the artistic development or the artistic taste he had. More he had the intellectual taste. Understand? Or established a new city near the Vijayanagar named as the Nagalapuram. Understand? Nagalapuram. Nagalapuram after his mother's name. He now got constructed a new city, got settled a new city, Nagalapuram, after the name of the mother. Many grand buildings and the temples were built in that city, got constructed, or constructed a huge tank near the capital for irrigation. And he also constructed a very huge tank near the cities, and now he respected the scholars of the Sanskrit and Telugu also. Moreover, one of the outstanding work is the Amuktya Malayada. Amuktya Malayada on a statecrafts in Telugu. He composed, understand, himself a text, understand, on the statecraft in the Telugu language. That is the Amukta Malayada. Understand? Amukta Malayada. This is the Telugu, and one of the reveals his intellectuals bent or his intellectuals test. Understand? No doubt. And moreover, and he extended royal patron to the, no doubt, this man must have extended the royal patron to the scholars of the Telugu, Kannad, and the Tamil poets were now Tamil poets were just took the shelters in his in the darbar and the courts of the Krishnadev Rai. Moreover, now successor of Krishnadev Rai and the Battle of Talikota. This was the end of the Vijayanagar Empire. I am going to explain you. After the demise of this great man, the great emperor, his successors, Achyuta Raya was a weak ruler. Achyuta Raya, understand, his successor was not in position to control the empire, so the central authority began to the decline. Central power started collapsing and declining, and as the Achyuta was now succeeded by the Sadasiva. Achyuta was succeeded by Sadasiva. During his reign, actual power centered in the hands of now triumvirates and in the hands of three, headed by Ramaraya, who was the highly ambitious. Ramaraya was the one of the high officials, and the entire power now went in his hands. Or in series of the battle, now he defeated, and in the series Bijapur, Golconda, and the Ahmednagar and they captured their several regions. Now Rama Raya was a very able man, or he captured the many of the territories of Bijapur and Golconda and Ahmednagar. And Ahmednagar, but ultimately Ahmednagar, Bijapur, Golconda, and the Bidar founded a confrontations. They forced a confrontations, and in 23 January 1565, this confederation gave crushing defeat in the Battle of Talikota. This Ramaraya and the Sadasiv, they were given the crushing of defeat. And scholars say that real battle occurred between the two villages, Rakshas Tangdi. The two villages named as the Rakshasa and the Rakshasi and the Tangdi. This is also called as the Battle of Rakshas Tangdi, Battle of Talikota, Battle of Rakshas Tangdi, और Battle of Bani Hatti भी कहते हैं. This is also known as the Battle of Bani Hatti. Okay, so this and Raja Ram was made the captive, and he was put to death in the battlefield. He was killed there, and the victorious troops looted the Vijayanagar and destroyed these victorious. And we don't find any instances, rather ruthless destruction of the beautiful, now the prosperous kings, and now no any kind of the instances in the history found the such ruined and the destruction of the beautiful cities by the enemy by the enemy armies. So the destruction happened of the Vijayanagar empire, and now this retrieves its now splendor and the glory on its area of the South India now shrank. Importance of the Rayas gone away in the politics. Southern India had come about the now to and very at the foot, and Tirumala, the brother of the Ramarai, Tirumala, defeated Sadasiva in 1570 and occupied the throne. Okay, Tirumala, Tirumala. Okay, he defeated and he laid the foundation of the Aravidu dynasty. Last dynasty I have named. He laid the foundation of Aravidu dynasty. This dynasty made the Penikonda and the later Chandragiri near the Tirupati its capital. इन्होंने अपना कैपिटल्स चेंज कर दिया, understand, and made the Tirupati its capital, Chandragiri near Tirupati its capital. Or relation between the Sultan and Raya, despite religious differences, relation between the Sultan and Raya was not inevitably hostile, and Krishna Dev Rai had extended it and his supports to the several claimants to the power in the sultanates. He took the pride the title has split the Yadava kings. Similarly, sultans of Bijapur had intervened in the reducing the succession of the and disputes arising after the death of the Krishna Dev Rai. Understand? They began to interfere. There is no denying fact that both the Vijayanagar and the sultans wanted to make the existence of each other's stable. These two kingdoms wanted, the Vijayanagar and his enemy kingdoms wanted to establish. In fact, Rama Rai tried to play off a sultans against the another, but the Rama Rai played the trick to divide the sultans amongst them, and this was the reasons that the sultans formed their coalitions and attack on the Vijayanagar and decided to destroy. And he entered into the treaty with the Portuguese, and Rama Rai also entered, whereby the latter were to stop the supply of the horses to Bijapur, and he wanted to create a rift among the Bijapur, Golconda and Ahmednagar. This was the reason that this Bijapur, Golconda and Ahmednagar formed a coalition and attack on the Vijayanagar and Rama Rai. Understand? Or ultimately they destroyed the cities. This is the reason of the, okay. I suppose that you would have understand well. Or next, we shall start, and a very background of the Vijayanagar, emergence of Vijayanagar. Understand, you could have understand many of the theme. Then after we shall start one by one topics. Thank you very much.